First of all, if you want to know if you're marrying the right person, just ask your wedding planner.
No, I'm
No, I mean, I'm dead serious. This podcast is a Dear Media production.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back. Wedding episode.
Ashley, I'm so excited.
1
It's
month.
not my wedding, but I'm excited.
Really 1 month till things pop off. So we are pretty much now, I guess, starting technically on the 29th of October.
Is that Wednesday?
With like close family that's coming into town. And it's not an official event. It's not on the itinerary, but people are probably going to come to our house. And that is the day that I met him.
Wait, that's crazy. Actually.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
What?
We met on October.
What are you
I know. Isn't that crazy? Like, there's these things keep coming up that we didn't even think about. I mean, this was the same thing as me realizing my best friend Corey and I we're gonna have the same anniversary. Like, we met at the show in Boston on October 29th, 2021.
Ashley, I'm like so shook by this. This is crazy.
And now 4 years later, we're getting married, and that's when things are gonna kick off. It's really special.
It is really special.
Yeah. So
Anyway, I
anyway,
don't like to make any plans. You've made all my plans for me this fall, and I love it.
I know you're just along for the ride.
A bunch of bachelorettes. We're gonna go for your special taping, your wedding. I don't want to do our plans when your wedding's over.
Well, we have a couple other people getting married. Like,
You know, I've been meaning to say this too. I have more weddings this year and bachelorette parties than I ever have in my life at 40. I've had a really different life trajectory than like the average person. So have you. Like, we have a lot of weddings this year.
yeah, coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
right, like the
bachelorette
fiscal
parties.
year.
Fiscal year.
Like from my stuff to like, yeah, we have Alyssa.
Jenny just got married. My friend Sam's
Jenny,
getting
yes.
married. Like all these bachelorette parties. It's kind of crazy. I mean,
It's so fun.
I had a great 30s. That decade, just unscathed by people's spouses or children.
It really is funny. It's the 20s and the 40s. It's the second wave. For
Taylor,
us at least. Taylor, yeah. I'm saying it's like, but I love it because we don't have a lot of plans next year. Well, I don't. And you
I'm gonna
might.
make a plan.
You're gonna make a plan,
figure it
but
out.
I feel really free, like with like Alyssa's sister emailed about the Bachelorette, and I'm like, I can go anytime.
Welcome to my life. I told you.
It's like it was like fill out your dates. I'm like anytime works.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Yeah, that's been my year, the whole year. I never know what city I'm going to be in day to day. I have so many people coming to stay with me. People are like, can I stay at your house? I'm like, yeah, we're wide open.
That's fun. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll thank
Okay.
our partners, and then we'll get like right into it. But thank you to SmartMouth. Get a special discount on your next SmartMouth purchase at smartmouth.com/GGE and Function. Our first 1,000 listeners get a $100 credit towards your membership at functionhealth.com/GGE or use the code GGE100.
And thank you to Saks Fifth Avenue. Head to Saks Fifth Avenue or Saks.com for inspiring ways to elevate your personal style. So my fiance is leaving for his bachelor party, and he hasn't traveled without me. Like, we've gone on a lot of trips together, but I'm always the one leaving and touring, and he stays with Azul. And so he hasn't left me since he's moved in.
That's insane.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
Or if he's traveled, we've both been gone.
Right.
So he has done stuff. But
You haven't been alone up in the house.
Yes,
by
that's my
yourself.
point.
That's
I haven't
crazy.
slept in my bed alone since January 31st.
That's wow.
I've been alone plenty when I'm traveling, but
Right.
like he hasn't left me alone in the home. Like, I always want to be with him, and I miss him when I'm apart from him. I really just do love him so much, but like I am looking forward to being alone.
I love being
and, like
alone.
watching my TV. I only got 2 days of it. We're recording a little bit farther out, but I only have 2 days, and then I'm leaving again. But it's just like, I don't hate it.
I love being alone.
I
didn't realize
know.
you just hadn't been alone.
It's
I'm just always in the house doing something.
It is. Your life changes so drastically. This is not a hot take, but to be alone all the time and then to never be alone is kind of nuts.
I mean, I lived with 2 men all through my 20s. I was just never alone. I lived with a man in my 30s. I love being alone.
Yeah, I mean, I love living with him,
I know you do.
but I'm going to love to be alone also.
I am actually about to have the opposite experience. My house is booked
Rayna,
and busy.
you are hosting an Airbnb.
Jeremy is staying with me this week, and then Jackie comes. Then I'm leaving, and Jeremy and Jackie are staying at my house together.
The way you are running a hostel out of that place.
And then our other friend Jackie is staying with me.
So fun.
Andrew and Brenna are staying at my house. Jackie's going to stay. Actually, we have 2 different Jackies staying. I have a constant, and everybody wants to come out for your wedding early. So like all of our friends are coming a lot of the weekend before. I've had 3 separate people, including one former couple, both asked to stay at my house, and I had to give priority to one of them because one of them asked first.
Rayna, do you have a spreadsheet for this shit?
I started making notes about who's staying with me every single day.
I need to get the schedule too because I want to be over there.
Oh, and then my brother and
hanging out.
sister-in-law might come, and then Melanie might come out, and yeah, I have a lot of business.
This is crazy.
Well, I complain every single day that I have nothing to do in LA, and I'm always alone. So
It's going to be fun.
That's the answer.
It's going to be so fun.
So excited.
Ugh, I love it.
And we just booked your 3rd bachelorette.
Okay, yeah, I guess we are sharing all the wedding details today. Yeah, you guys knew I was going to do 3, and
You waffled and you canceled it a couple times.
I know.
And I was
like,
I'll get her back.
I don't know if I want to do this. So yeah, we are going to go to Vegas. I wanted to go to Vegas, and it's so easy. Like I was like, I can't add this to my plate, and then I was like, it is actually so easy. It is a quick flight. It's one night only. Staying in hotels. There's not like a house to check into. People are bringing decorations and food. I mean, the Dewey house was insane. The amount of like things that Lee and Corey brought into that house and then had to leave with, And so this is just like so easy. I mean, it's get there, go to dinner, see the Chippendales, have a pajama party, room service, breakfast the next morning, and get the fuck home. Like it's low lift.
This is the real bachelorette party because we take sorry to everybody
Shots
not coming,
fired.
But I mean, Dewey, we go every summer. And so we're with this like amazing crew, but we do Dewey every summer. Vegas is
I'm not going to co-sign this. So that's pretty much what's going on. I had like a dress update. I'm just, a little bit of tea. I picked up my dress and, you go to the boutique. We talked about it. You went, my mom, Taylor. It was a really special time. And then you drop a bunch of stacks on this dress and they take your measurements and then you go back to pick it up months later. And they typically say you will need more alterations. I think that typically means because a lot of brides lose weight. And because I was like, what do you mean? You measured me. This better be made for my body. And I think a lot of people are like, yeah, but I'm still wanting to lose weight. And that just is not like really my story. I was like, this is probably going to be my body when I pick it up. So I go to pick it up. I was so excited. I brought another friend, Anushka, who didn't get to go to the first appointment. And so she came with me and I was expecting this like incredible like reveal. And I want to start by saying like, I'm obsessed with the boutique, the designer, all the things. We had a little bit of a mishap, which I'll share with you guys. So I put it on and immediately I was like, it just is sitting a little different in terms of like the bodice and like where it sat on my hips, and I don't want to give too much away and like what the dress exactly looks like, but I was like, okay, but that's understandable. I tried on a sample size. It was a lot larger. They have to clamp it in the back. It wasn't made for me. So it's already kind of sitting up a little higher than I remember. And then as we really get into it, I was like, oh my God, it's like just does not fit. Like the bust is so big and it's up so high. It's like uncomfortable under my armpits. Like I was like panicking and like, I wanted to be so excited, but I walked out and you could feel my anxiety. Like Anushka was like filming this. She's like, oh no, like something's wrong. And I'm like, it's just not what I remember. It's not the way it's fitting. And I feel like it's not made for me. I feel like I can't wear this to get married in the way that it's kind of like digging into my like armpit fat, And so it was kind of like an all hands on deck situation. The manager came in and everyone's like, okay, like the designer is incredible. And I'll share all these details with you guys after the wedding. She'll fix it if something's wrong, of course, but we just want to make sure we know what the issue is. I went back the next day to take more measurements and they were wonderful, but I was like a little panicked, like, was this custom made in the right way? And do we need to send it back overseas where it got made and all these things? I came from London. It's like nothing crazy. And so we went back and forth trying to figure this out. Will alterations work? And they finally were like, come back in one more time and let's Zoom with the designer. And so I and like the owner was on it, the owner of the boutique, and I'd had a call with her. I mean, this was truly like an all hands. So I go in, I had to go to 8:30 in the morning because they're coming from, they're from
I
London.
couldn't believe you voiced me at like 10 a.m. and you'd already lived a whole day.
So I had to go there like 8 in the morning. Everyone's there, like the manager, the owner, and then the designer, like this big deal wedding like designer is on the Zoom from London. And then she says to me, she's like, you know what? I've looked at all the photos. I've talked to everybody. I've seen the videos, and I just feel like this dress is not sitting on you the way that it was designed to and the way that you tried it on in the store. And I'm like, that's what I've been saying. I'm like, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
And so she's like, let's hold it in place. Let's get it on your body and let's reassess. You know, she's like, nobody did anything wrong, but I think they might have put it on you in not the right placement. It hiked up a little bit and we had a whole situation. So I feel like I was so tense. I'm on the Zoom with these people from London.
Are you naked?
I had always wear underwear.
Okay.
Like I had on like a thong. Okay. And they did a few more measurements even prior to that. And it was just a whole thing. And so they put it on me and I'm like, this time's going to be different. I can feel it. And they sat it down where it's supposed to sit. And I'm like, that looks right. That looks right. That's the dress I bought, you know, or my mom bought. And they kind of put it up. Oh, but I didn't even mention 2 women are there from an alterations place. Like I'm telling you, there's like over 8 people total
that are dress back
involved in this. Yes. And I think they were like, we did this right. We made this for you. Yeah. We know what the fuck we're doing.
Totally.
I forgot that the 2 women there from like the #1 bridal alterations boutique in Santa Monica. Well, they're there
like
too.
We took 17 different measurements.
Yeah, exactly.
It's extreme amount of measurements.
They get it on me and they're being like very careful with the way they lace up the corset. I'm like, oh my God, who's going to do this on the wedding day? Probably Jacquelyn. And so I'm getting into it. And as it's like being buttoned up, everyone's like, oh, we did it. It's right. It was made for her. The alterations people like, I wouldn't change a thing. They were like, we might bring the hem up, but this is perfect. Everyone is ranting and raving. I'm crying. I was like, this is the moment I wanted to have 2 weeks ago. It's this whole thing. And again, like I can't stress enough, like everyone has been so wonderful in making sure this is right. But it's crazy how just like the way it sits can change the whole way that the top is and the way that it's coming up on your body.
I couldn't believe what you were saying to me. They put the dress on wrong.
But it's like, I hate to even say that, but it's just like the designer was like, I made this to not really be where the bodice meets the skirt. It sits lower intentionally. And that's what I loved about it. I loved what it did for my body. So when it was put on me, it was just up higher and it took away from how she designed it. And then once they got it on me correctly, it was like the top was like the way it's supposed to be. It's like more dramatic. It was comfortable. It fit. We're not doing anything to it. We're going to hem it up a little bit. It's obviously super long. And once I figure out the heels that I am going to wear, then we'll do it. But like, I was like, oh, it doesn't need any work. Oh, okay. This whole time.
I mean, it was a real tonal shift from the week before.
I was freaking out.
Of course you were.
And I knew they would make it right. I mean, you know, it's like you get what you pay for. You spend a lot of money on a custom-made dress. They're going to make sure you love it. But I was like, now the window is closing and the amount of time we have, we got to send the ship back to London. They have to remake a course. I mean, what are we doing here? And everyone was so wonderful, you know, I'll talk about the designer more post-wedding and stuff because you guys could like go on our Instagram and probably find the dress and like whatever. I don't want to gatekeep you guys, but you know, I'm trying to be a little cagey about it.
Will go online.
My fiance will find it. No, he doesn't care. It's hanging in our house. Like he's not looking at like a kid looking for his Christmas presents. Like he wants to be surprised too. But yeah, they fixed it. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, Rayna, you can't even believe 8 in the morning. I'm on a Zoom. There's like 8 people here, and I'm crying.
I missed the crying moment. I feel sad about it.
Yeah. So.
Wait, speaking of your fiance, I had an idea for you. This is totally separate, but the egg prank that we've been talking about.
Well, what are you gonna? He's gonna listen to this.
Okay. Oh, he's gonna listen to this.
I think he's gonna listen to this because it's about his wedding. Okay, we can say this now. I need to get it to his bachelor party.
Oh my God. Wait, where's the bachelor party again? Is it in a hotel or an Airbnb?
A big house.
Can we
I can't get it there in time.
Well, damn it.
All right, we'll talk later about how we're going to get it to his bachelor party. What if I was just like, whatever it costs, FedEx it?
Just overnight it.
I just don't trust a guy. They're going to be like, what is this?
You could send it to one of his friends.
I'm saying that I don't trust. You know, I feel like Justin would handle this and like see the humor in it if anybody would.
You're going to overnight it there. I think it'd be fun to send it to your own house. like it's a wedding gift and he opens it.
I'm sending this to Maine
Okay.
today.
I think that we have to
100%.
mail it to him. I feel like I'm just gonna keep coming up with like insane ways that he can find this card.
I wish I would have thought of this earlier. All right, I have to get it to his bachelor party.
You don't have anything else going on. Just do it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Say less. Okay, well, like you guys already know, we have my wedding planner today, and it is so fun. We could have talked to her for hours. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for her. I want to hype her before she comes in. I don't know how people do this alone. I was talking to a friend and I was like, I can't believe people plan their weddings but without a planner. And some people have like a day of or even a week of or a month of, but like I can't imagine doing this without her. And Taylor, our friend, was like, when people plan their own weddings, they become wedding planners. You know, when they really are able to do it. And again, every wedding is different. Mine has multiple days, tons of details. You know, I think obviously there's weddings that are way more simple, but this, I cannot imagine this without her. And I never would have done it that way. Like that was never something I was going to do, but she's just been so incredible to work with. Her team, I mean, her ideas and her organization and her communication has been 10 out of 10 from the start. And it's just been an honor to work with her. She's the best of the best. I know, like, I can't speak for every single person on our team, but I just know they are. I know anyone she would hire is going to have her level of perfection and talent. And so obviously we'll talk about them today and you guys can check them out. And I think she's already gotten some inquiries and clients from me posting her on social and things like that. But I just can't recommend her and the Wedding Plan & Co. enough. And it's like, aside from my fiance, aside from you, it's like she's the most important person. She's done the most, you know, like she made this happen. And we talk about it a little bit, but I knew some things that I wanted. I knew some things that I didn't, but I had a sort of vision and she's really helped bring it to life. And so, man,
shout out to her.
She's the best.
No, I love her so much. And we had the best time recording with her. And then we went out for drinks after. And I'm so crazy about her. I just love her so much and everything she's done.
Yeah, so you guys, hope you enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys about Smart Mouth. I have been loving this. I have been using the toothpaste and the mouthwash. I wasn't even a mouthwash girly before this, and I really have gotten into it. I mean, I am a coffee drinker. I love me some garlic, you know, and I worry about my breath, and I always want it to be fresh, and Smart Mouth is the only mouthwash scientifically proven to give you 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. You still got to brush your teeth more than that, 24 hours, you guys. It's not going to take the place of that, but I really love that. The secret is their dual solution smart zinc technology. As you pour, the 2 solutions activate billions of zinc ions that instantly eliminate bad breath and keep it away all day. So it's backed by science. It's developed by the dentist who literally wrote the encyclopedia section on bad breath.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine that as your credit? Like, I am the encyclopedia. I wrote the encyclopedia on bad breath.
I would crush it at parties.
Yes. Also, though, it's like I'd be scared to talk to that person.
Me too.
They'd be judging me. So now it is even easier. They have a new Snap Top bottle for effortless convenience. So we are just such big fans of this, and they sent us a bunch of different products, and I've really been using them all. But I mean, the mouthwash is just second to none. I'm not going to name any names, but I've tried mouthwash in the past. I just don't like the taste. I don't like the feel. I don't know. I'm picky about toothpaste too. I don't like the aftertaste and, you know, some of the top brands, I'm not going to name any names, that are just like what everyone uses. I've never really been down with. And so I was using another brand that I've used pretty much my whole life, and I've switched over to Smart Mouth, and I'm using that now. And I'm just such a big fan. So if you guys are worried at all about your dental health, your breath, just really check it out. We love it so much. Never have bad breath again. Find Smart Mouth at Walgreens, Walmart, and Amazon, or visit smartmouth.com/GGE to snag a special discount on your next Smart Mouth purchase. That is smartmouth.com/GGE. Don't miss out on 24-hour fresh breath. Your mouth will thank you.
Okay, and Function. I choose Function because it's the only health platform that gives me data most people never get and the insights to start doing something about it. So inside Function, you get access to test over 100 plus biomarkers. So that is from hormones to toxins to markers of heart health, inflammation, and stress. And for an additional fee, you can also access access MRI and chest CT scans, all tracked in one secure place over time. And that is a nearly 360-degree view to better see what's happening in your body. And that is why top health leaders are all behind Function Health. So this really is a great platform to just kind of figure out what is going on in your body at all times. And, as we're out in the world or in our homes, you really don't know always what's in the water you drink, the air you breathe, the fabrics you live in, that you sleep in. And the environment can really leave a marker on your health. Ashley and I are always on planes and in hotels. And I'm always just like, what's going on with me? Is it just like being alive, or is something really wrong? And certain chemicals can affect the body over time, like mold exposure. But if you really want to get a handle on things like cholesterol, metabolism, thyroid dysfunction, immune responses, they have tests for all these things and a great platform that'll allow you to make better decisions. And there's tons of insights and suggestions and information for how to move forward and get healthy. So that is why we choose to use Function. We have scheduled it. Very excited to go take these tests and learn more by using our link. Function is a nearly 360-degree view to see what's happening in your body. And our first 1,000 listeners get a $100 credit towards their membership. Visit functionhealth.com/GGE or use the code GGE100 at sign up to own your health.
Okay, and Saks Fifth Avenue, we always like to talk about what we're shopping for in the moment. And since we have a wedding episode today, I'm shopping for something I might want to change into at the end of the night. Like, I want to wear my wedding dress like most of the night, and at the end of the last hour, really turn up and change into like a little white dress. Yes. And so that's what I'm looking at. Love Saks. I mean, look at that one. Bronx and Banco.
Actually, I know this dress very well, and I'm very obsessed with this dress.
I know. And like this styled, everyone talks about styled, the brand, like this sequined fringe mini dress.
Love. That reminds me, we have a friend that wore something kind of similar in red at her wedding.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, she changed into red for like the end of the night. And so that's what I'm looking, and just so many different price points. I mean, you can get Prada, obviously at a higher price point, or you can find brands. I'm looking at this gorgeous dress right now from Favorite Daughter. It's $200, So I think there's such a range, and you can really find everything you guys are looking for.
There's a couple of websites I just feel that like everybody is always in the same outfit all the time. And I'm just like looking for something a little different with the same quality. So that's why I like Saks.
Yes. And just the range of designers and styles and price points. I mean, super, super trendy stuff. And then also really classic stuff. You can just find it all. So we just love it. And we just want to hammer it to you guys, like Saks, Saks, Saks. Like, think of it as your go-to, especially if you're shopping for any sort of special occasion. So if you guys are like us and you are looking for anything to wear anywhere, shopping should be fun and easy. So you guys can head to Saks Fifth Avenue or Saks.com for inspiring ways to elevate your personal style every day. And let's get into it with Jacquelyn.
Okay, guys, we have somebody really, really special today. And to celebrate that, Ashley is going to do something for the first time that she has never done in 7.5 years. I'm going to let you introduce the guest.
I am so excited to introduce you guys to our guest today. She is the founder of The Wedding Plan and Company, which plans extraordinary weddings top to bottom all over the world, and has been featured in People Magazine, Brides Magazine, Today Show, The Knot, in the Best of Weddings Hall of Fame, and so much more. And she is also my wedding planner. Whoop, whoop. Please welcome to the show, Jacquelyn Aleece.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
We are so happy to have you here. And Ashley,
How did I do?
You did really good.
I've never done that.
I couldn't have asked for a better intro.
Was it all accurate?
Nailed it.
Okay.
No, you did great. And this makes you the most important person to Ashley that's ever come on this show.
I've never done that. Yeah.
So honored.
Did I even do my fiance when he came on?
No, I actually was thinking that this morning. I was like, I think I introduced him. Okay,
love that.
So first question, on a scale of like 1 to Bridezilla, where is Ashley?
Oh my gosh. Literally like a 0. Like absolutely 0. No, I genuinely mean that.
That's why we brought you here today.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we could talk about what kind of bride I am.
I mean, I think, listen, there's a really big difference between someone who knows what they like, knows what they want, has a vision, and is smart and understands how to ask intelligent questions about wedding planning, versus someone I consider Bridezilla as people who are rude, nasty, mean, demanding, demeaning, looking at all of the vendors in the service industry kind of as lesser
like
than.
The help.
Yeah, as the help. And so Ashley would never and has never, and so, yeah, Bridezilla is level 0.
Okay, great.
So I think I know what I want in some areas for sure, and I know what I don't. But I'm also like, I defer to the experts, and then there's other stuff that I'm like, girl, I don't know, you plan it. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have much. A lot of stuff is like, leave it to the experts. I think people think they know it all.
Yes. I think you have done a really great job of saying, this is what's important to us. This is the experience we'd love to give to our guests. This is the experience we'd like to have. Like, even when we were looking for hair and makeup, Ashley was like, hey, so I really am not sitting with 12 people starting at 7 a.m. getting hair and makeup done. So I was like, fantastic. So she knew the experience she wanted was to be small, intimate, not this like long drawn out day where she's exhausted by the time she walks down the aisle, right? Mm-hmm. So we're able to tailor her wants and needs. But when it comes to finding the vendors, she's like, hey, so because this is what I want, tell me who we should be using, right? So she leaves, tells us the vision, but then leaves it to us to find it so we can execute it.
Like, she put together like vision boards essentially for the look. And I was like, no notes.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't tell her any direction. She was like, I'm thinking green because of this. I'm thinking these color flowers. I was like, looks good to me. I literally was just like, that seems fine.
Did you just like did you racially profile her? You're like a white girl named Ashley.
No, but
we're actually not to be perfectly honest, like not to give too much away, but I think this is like so opposite of like basic white girl.
Yeah,
like I think this is very opposite of basic white girl. I basically was like, okay, I think we found the venue. Really, when it comes to planner, client, bride relationship, is you really have to talk and we have to listen. You have to share. We have to listen. We learn about your fiance. We learn about you. We learn about your cultures. We learn about your families. We learn about just your personalities. Like, and then we try to bring it together. We're like listening for keywords. Like, where do you like to travel? What kinds of foods do you love? Like, it's not just what colors do you like.
Yeah.
And that's for amateur, like, hey, I created a website wedding planner and has no experience, is like, what colors do you like? We get to know the people and then try to figure out how can we bring their personality and their individuality to wedding planning.
I love that. And I love hearing like the background of what makes you good at what you do. And we put it out to our audience, like, what questions do you have? And they were so good and it's so varied. And I mean, maybe we could just hear like, what do you do and how's that different than a coordinator?
Yeah, and I also want to jump in and say what a joy it has been to work with Jacquelyn.
Thank
you had left LA that day. We didn't live here. We met you through our friend Taylor.
Yep.
LA had kind of just opened up post-COVID, and we were just out like on this boat.
Drinking.
Yeah, hanging out, and I met you. And so I was just... I think even when I got engaged, you might have slid into my DMs. You're like, I'm here if you need me.
Yeah, I was like, no pressure.
Yeah.
But if you need advice, help, not even to like hire me, but like if you even just have a question, like, I'm here, so happy for you. Like, I've watched the podcast forever. Like, I kind of knew the journey with your fiance, you know what I mean? And because we were acquaintances before this, I thought it was, it was a very genuine, conversation. So, and it just worked out really nicely.
And you get the vision. Like, you take the words out of my mouth. Sometimes you guys really listen. And I just love that distinction of someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. And they're like, what's your favorite color? And one thing you said to me early on, it was, you have got to tell me if you like something or don't like something. And to me, it sounds like you have been burned so many times by maybe people pleaser, don't want to push back clients who you get really far down a road and they haven't liked something the whole time.
That's so funny you said that, because when I was redoing my house, my contractor said that to me day one and continuously.
Yep.
If you do not like something, you must tell me.
You can tell it comes from trauma.
I mean, it kind of does. I say, like, it's just as important for me to know, and for our planners and our company to know, what it is that you like and what it is that you don't like. Here's the thing. Wedding planners, as experienced and as talented as my whole company is, we are not mind readers, right? Like, there is no crystal ball. We don't know what you're thinking. And the whole process is incredibly creative. So I could show you the same vision board I showed Ashley. You may not like it, right? But like, she loved it. So there is no, when it comes to art and creativity, there really is no right or wrong. So it's an opinion. It's not a fact. So you can't just yes me to death as your wedding planner and then end up with something that you hate, right? So what we do is we try to encourage, like, the most important thing that you can have, I say, in any relationship, your marriage, your friendships, if you're engaged, you're dating someone, whatever it is communication. Right? So like, what we push in our company when we're building relationships with any client is you have to communicate. If there's even a form of communication style you don't like, tell us that. If there's something that will make your life easier, tell us that. Like, we cannot read your mind just like any other relationship in your life. And so we push that. And I feel like that's what gives the experience that you're having, where it's like you have the freedom to be like, girl, this is not the vibe. And I go, great, let's move on. Yeah, right?
I know.
But we've also, Ashley and I've just planned so many things, and I mean, we've done hundreds of live shows, so I think it's a little more comfortable for us. I don't know that it's comfortable for everybody to give you details or explain themselves, and then you do get backed into a corner of people where they're like, I don't like this, and you're like,
you said you signed
literally
off
just
on
tell
it.
me, right?
Yeah.
And that's the funny part is we don't make the decisions. We bring you the options, right? And ultimately you make the decision. So if you're deciding from things that you don't like you really do have to tell us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad to hear that it has made your experience
It's been a joy.
great.
I can't imagine.
I
We'll
mean,
get to
even
it.
when
but
you went venue shopping, I even said to them, I was like, you're going to show up to a venue and you might be like, Jacquelyn, we hate it. And the whole point is that it shows you, it's a nice comparison to like what your budget can, this is what this gets. This is what this gets.
Yeah.
This is what this gets, right? So every venue I'm sending you to, which I think was only 3 or 4, but like they all aren't supposed to be perfect. Only one has to be.
And also, I think just as much as knowing what you like it's important to know what you don't like. And sometimes I learn more from that, where I'm just like, the ceilings are too high.
Oh my gosh,
carpeted ballroom. I was that. I'm not going to say, but I was like, everything's perfect besides the fucking carpet, and I'm not doing it.
Can I give I want to do like a PSA to every hotel, every wedding venue.
Why are we carpeting
Please
a ballroom?
contact wedding planners. Stop hiring interior designers who they don't know how to cater to couples. Wedding planners do. Hire us to redo your ballrooms, because if I could tell you how many venues have lost millions of revenue because I show them a ballroom with carpet.
Yes.
And the other, can I give my first trick?
I'm going to guess
about
something
ballrooms
too.
with
Okay.
carpets.
Yes.
If you are doing a ballroom with a carpet, unless you have the money to fully cover it, which is very expensive, lean into it. So if your carpet's green, do green linens. If your carpet's blue, do blue linens. Like, it's
fully
a
send
tip.
it?
Because then it's not drawing attention to it.
Totally.
There's no contrast. It's blending. And once the tables are out and chairs are out, the design of it will feel much more cohesive, and there just won't be contrast. So there's if you have to be
Lean
stuck
into
with,
your dusty carpet.
Lean into your
Right.
carpet.
If you're going to make
Can't
this
afford to-
decision, say it with your whole chest.
Stay it. That's what I'm saying.
And admit that you can't afford to cover this whole carpet. Because who could?
Yeah, it's not the best. But so many venues lose so much money just because, and we're talking brand new renos. Like, and I'm like, why? Like,
Why
have we
did
not
you do
learned our
this?
lesson?
It would be a hard no for me.
Carpet in the airport and carpet in a ballroom. Get the fuck out.
Get out.
I've been in
Or
areas of airports.
tiles that are spread out at an airport and the wheels get stuck on those tiles.
worst.
I'm like, what are we doing here?
So can you give us a little background on becoming a wedding planner?
Yeah, of course. So I worked my very first wedding at the age of 11.
Oh my God.
Cutie.
My grandfather, and I'll keep this part quick, but my grandfather immigrated from Greece, left his wife and 5 kids in Greece, worked as a busboy at the UN in New York City, saved up money for 2 years, brought his whole family over, was like the original American dream, and created like a multi-million-dollar business where he owned restaurants and a wedding venue. And I was the coat check girl at the restaurant and wedding venue. So every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when we had weddings, I would go in the coat check closet. I would hang all the coats. And then once all the coats were hung, I'd lock the door, and then I would chase the couple around, making sure her veil or her train isn't dragging on the floor, making sure I'm aging myself here because this is before digital photography. But if there was, like, let's say you're doing a picture outside and there's like a parking cone, like, in the distance, that's going to be in your wedding picture forever, right? So like I was like making sure there was nothing like in the background of your photos, or making sure her curls were right, or like whatever it was. So I really learned the events industry, hospitality, literally from the age of 11 on, and did that, worked Fridays. Like while other people are at sleepovers, I was like, guys, I have to go to work. And by the way, can I tell you, like to this day, being a coat check girl, the best job of my life. So there were 250 people in the wedding venue, 250 people at dinner. If everyone gave me $1, I was making $500 a night.
No, you crush it.
No, I was.
I wasn't doing that math.
I was
loved
like
coat
11
checking.
years
I
old,
loved it.
sitting in my room with like you would have thought I was like a stripper.
Yes.
Like I had singles laid across my room, counting them in like increments of 10. I would have like $1,000
boss.
for like the weekend. And I bought, when I was 15, I was like, I'm going to buy my first Louis Vuitton. And I walked in and I had nothing but singles. And I said to the guy, I was like, I'm so embarrassed, but I really want that wallet. And it was a $525 wallet. To this day, I use that wallet every day. I'm 40 years old. I bought it when I was 15 with my coat check girl and wedding coordinator money.
And they were probably like, we're going to call the cops.
No,
But,
no, actually, do you know what he said to me? Because I'll never forget it. I
Child
go,
prostitution.
I'm really like so embarrassed, but I only have 525 in singles. And he looks at me and goes, money's money, honey.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, I get commission. I don't care how I make it.
Like, do you work on commission? Big mistake.
Yeah, big mistake. Big mistake. No, he leaned in. He was like, here's a 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl with cash and like, let's go for it. So anyway.
Can I just tell you, I can't even imagine how this formed you as a person to deal with people from the age of 11 on the most important day of their life. Cannot do it again. There are no redos. Like the baptism by fire of dealing with that shit when you are a kid. I mean, I don't have a touch point for it. I started waiting tables when I was 22 in New York City and the Upper East Side. Those people were hard as fuck to deal
Sure.
with. But that is nothing like the most important day of your life.
I mean, I wasn't officially like, they didn't like sell me as the coordinator.
Of
I just
course.
was the coat check girl, you know, locking
Yeah.
the door. And then, but I knew instinctually what needed to get done, what needed to be fixed. I used my senses. You use your eyes, your nose, your ears, and you figure out like what needs to get done, how quickly does it need to get done. And there are people in this world, you know, who just jump into action. And I feel like that's what makes like a really good wedding planner, specifically on the day of. But like, it was just something that came so natural. And there really is no wedding planning, you know, college. Like you can go to school for hospitality, but
Events.
you know, there's a couple scammy things where like you can get a certificate to be, that's like, if I just said, pay me $1,000 and
Same with, like,
I'll
life
send you like a
coach.
printout. You know what I mean?
Event
Like,
planning, I think there's probably less so on the job.
you can be certified, but it's not accredited. So like essentially I could start my own certification program tomorrow and it's like, it's not accredited by anything.
Totally.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how I got my experience was literally, and then I was a waitress and I was a bartender and I was a hostess and then I did corporate event planning. And then I thought I can't
back to
die in
my
a
roots.
cubicle. I was like, I cannot die in a cubicle. And I was 25 years old and I started the business and my first client to this day never knew she was my first client. That was 15 years ago. And we just did her little brother's wedding too. So 15 years later, they came back to us.
I love that. So you said commission and it just made me think something I want to touch on. And you know, we have so many questions to get to today, but I think one thing that does make you, I don't know if it's different, you tell us what's the norm is how some wedding planners charge for their services and how that kind of affects the way they might plan your wedding.
Yeah, because people are like, what does a wedding planner do and how does that, you know, shake out?
So, you know, there's different kinds of wedding planning. So I'll give you an example. So most wedding planners don't do everything I'm about to talk about. My company does. I started my company kind of with the mission to employ as many females as possible, create wealthy, independent women. I grew up just watching women be controlled by money. And I was like, that's never going to be me. And it's never going to be anybody who wants to be part of my company.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are going to create a universe where, you know, we have opportunities, right? My company, we have from consulting, which is like, hey, you just want to talk to us once a month and like ask us questions. And like you're doing the emails, you're doing like the time consuming stuff, but you can pick our brain for a fee. Right?
Wow.
And it can be consistent. Like you can do it once a month for 24 months. You can do it once a month for 12 months. You can do it once a month for 4 months. It doesn't matter, right? So we do consulting. You plan your entire wedding, but you want us to come in 30 days before your wedding, tie all of it together, and be a true wedding coordinator. Meaning we didn't plan, we didn't book your vendors, we didn't create the plan, but we are going to help you execute it. We're going to organize it. We're going to make sure you're not missing key things. We're going to go through checklists, make sure like you haven't made any major mistakes.
Okay.
Right. And then we're there the weekend for the rehearsal, for the wedding, and we're the ones like making sure things are just aligning.
Okay.
Then we do a la carte wedding planning. So some people come to us and they go, hey, so I need help with these 6 things, but I don't need help with these 12 other things. And we're like, okay, great. So hire us for those 6 things. Like, fantastic, right? And then we also do full service wedding planning, which is you come to us with a budget and a dream. And we, you know, go from there. And we take you from brainstorming to fruition, right? So a lot of wedding planners are, I would say there are some companies that do kind of the full range. I think that makes us different. A lot of people tend to find a niche. Like a lot of planners will only do full service. A lot of planners will only do coordination. But going back to commission, what you said. So one of the things that, I really built my business is treat your clients the way you would want to be treated as a client, right? Like pretty basic customer service.
Yeah.
But it is something I believe in with my whole heart and full chest. And like, there is a little bit of like this underground, okay, so I'm going to tell Ashley to book this photographer because that photographer is going to increase their fee by 10% so that they're giving me a commission, a kickback. We absolutely have never done that, will never do that. We're very transparent with that. And I will say, there are going to be wedding planners who maybe listen to this and say, well, I charge commissions, but I'm upfront. If you're upfront about it, and this is part of like your pitch to your client and your client fully knows what's happening, more power to you. What I have seen is the kind of the underground, you're doing it on the sly, you're having people put like an added fee, a hidden fee in there that like your client doesn't know what it is. So they're paying you for your service, but then they're also paying more for the vendor. And I just think that's stealing, quite frankly. And I would, if that happened to me as a client in any industry, I'd be livid.
Yes.
So
I think that the dream is that you work with a coordinator or a planner because they have relationships with these people, and the relationship would allow you to get a discount, not the opposite. That's why you hire somebody to design. Well, that's why you
Rayna,
hire.
that's exactly what we do.
That's why we do interior designers.
No, that's exactly what we do. So I basically say, hey, these 20 photographers, they are trustworthy, they are reliable, they are talented, they're amazing, they're kind people, they give great customer service, their work is incredible. And by the way, you're going to get a 10% discount because we bring them so much business. So all of the relationships that myself and my 15 planners have created are all organic. And the vendors are like, we'd be happy to give them a discount because you've brought us 12 weddings this year, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't need to do the undercutting. Like it's just not something, and my business is not built off that. I don't need to pay my bills off of stealing from people.
It's just good business.
But I guess to my point, just to confirm, like a full service wedding, a client is paying you the same amount if their wedding is 50 or 100 or 200 grand, right?
Yeah. So we're flat fee.
That's flat. Exactly. That's my kind of my point. Cause I think people think like the more expensive my wedding, the more that I have to pay a planner.
Right. Well, I will say our fees range not based on your budget, based on what you want us to plan.
That's why,
right.
exactly.
So your budget could
tiered
be 200,000 for your wedding, but if I'm only planning one day,
That's what I'm saying.
right,
Like
then
it's
that
based
fee
on the
is gonna be for a
services
day.
you
Exactly. It's
provide.
going to be based on the service, right? Where if you have 200,000 for 3 days, might be more expensive because we're planning 3 days worth of events and not one day, right? So it
100%.
just depends. But
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm like
You wanna get into the
foaming at the
juicy
mouth
stuff.
about budget.
Yeah,
and
let's
that's
talk
the
about
thing that came up the
much
the
is a
most.
wedding?
And so many questions about like, where should I put my money? What has the largest impact, the smallest impact? But like, just flat out, like, what does a wedding cost? How do I make a budget?
How much is Ashley's wedding?
How much is
Ashley's wedding?
How much is Ashley's
I'm
wedding?
dead.
I mean,
I'm dead.
You asked me straight up.
Absolutely.
What's ideal and what's your top?
Yep.
Don't go above it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So somebody says to you like, hi, I want to plan a wedding.
How much is a wedding? Okay. So I mean, genuinely, I get this question every single day of
Yeah,
my life,
of
and so do
course.
my planners. It's like, what does a wedding cost? Well,
How much you got?
Yeah, no, I mean, I wish, right? I mean, that'd be a fun answer. How much do you have? Well, we do kind of ask that, but in a nicer way.
When I asked my architect of my house, I said, can we do this? And he said, you got money? We can do it.
Well, here's the thing. Absolutely anything
You
is
can have
possible.
whatever you want.
can have whatever you want. Everything has a price tag.
That's what he said.
But I will say this: when people just say, like point,
You got
blank,
money?
you got money. When people ask point blank, how much does a wedding cost? They want a black and white answer, but it's such a nuanced question, right? Which is, how much does a white t-shirt cost? Well, if you go to Walmart, a t-shirt's $6. If you go to Old Navy, it's $14. If you go to Nordstrom, it's $75. If you buy a Prada t-shirt, it's $400, right? They're all white t-shirts. So you can't really ask someone how much is anything because it's so nuanced. So one of the things that we love sharing, and there are so many theories about budgets, and I truly stand behind there's 2 correct ways to create a budget. The first one is you hire a planner and you say, this is how much I can spend. This is how much I have. And then we tell you, like, this is how many people you can invite. Mm-hmm. This is the location that you can get married in. these are the options based on that number you gave us. Here, this is what it's going to cost if you get married in Pennsylvania. This is what it's going to cost if you get married in New Jersey. This is what it's going to cost if you get married in Aspen. This is what it's going to cost if you get married in Los Angeles, Dallas, Florida, whatever it is. Italy. We planned 4 weddings in Italy last year. Like, this is how much that budget, this is how far it's going to take you wherever, right? The second way is I want 250 people on a Saturday in Manhattan during peak season. And I'm going to say, great, do you have a minimum, right, of $250,000?
I felt sick
right?
when you were saying that. Honestly, I was like,
I knew it was going to be $250,000.
yeah, I tried to plan a wedding in New York. Like,
Right.
and also that's another thing. Do you want a wedding in Italy? Okay. Do you have the money to entertain people for 3 to 4 days
That's right.
who are traveling across the world? Do you want to write an itinerary, plan a Thursday event and a Sunday event? Can you afford that?
Right. And listen, I've planned 200 person weddings for $20,000.
Whoa.
I mean, granted, this was 12 years
Was
ago.
it at a park?
It was at a fire station.
Of course it was.
We love a fire station.
hall
It was
wedding. Yeah.
a fire. No
course it
joke, it was
was.
a fire station. The firefighters literally built this gorgeous. They have beautiful cherrywood floor, not even carpet, if you can imagine.
The
And
floors.
the floors.
Okay.
They had beautiful hardwood floors. They built this gorgeous, like gorgeous
At a fire
at a
hall.
firehouse,
Yeah.
right? Like, to be fair, but a beautiful cherrywood bar for cocktail hour.
Love
They
it.
created a rose garden for the ceremony space, and the couple came to me, and it's really about priorities. So they said, we have 200 people on our guest list and $20,000. I said, great, you can't be picky, and you have to get married where I say you have to get married. And they were like,
Why is that so funny to me? So here's what you're going to do.
right. But they were like, reducing the guest count is not an option.
Okay.
And I was like, great, then you have to trust me and listen to me because you're not doing it at the Plaza Hotel.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing it at a fire station in New Jersey. Like that.
Wait, can I tell you? My ex, his father was the director of events at the Plaza Hotel. And I was like, can we do it here? And he was like, can you start at $1 million? And I was
Right.
like, no.
Right. We've
So-
done 2 weddings at the Plaza. They were lovely and amazing and fabulous. But to my point is, we've planned weddings at the Plaza Hotel. We've planned weddings at castles in Italy. We've planned 10-person weddings in people's dining rooms, and we've planned 500-person weddings. Like, so when it goes back to how much does a wedding cost, it's like, well, I can show you a $20,000 wedding for 200 people. I could also show you a $1.5 million wedding.
Right.
Like, and it's everywhere in between. Right?
I understand the question. The question is like, how do I make a budget?
Yeah,
so
well,
like
that's different. I can give everyone like a hard answer to at
Yeah.
least their biggest question.
But like, again, I don't want to back you in a corner, but let's just say we're doing a 150 person wedding. Just, I'm asking for a friend.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. And it's going to be in maybe not New York, but a major city-ish. And you
Sure.
want it to be fancy and classy. And you want to have your 2 days. And let's just say roughly for good food, open bar, premium, good DJ, all the things. Like, what are we?
This all feels pretty standard. What
yeah,
you're
okay. So
describing.
we're talking about like not low budget, not high budget, somewhere in the upper middle.
and like a nice hotel, whatever.
Yeah, I would say you'd want to, I mean, here's just like a really nice standard because I don't want to give just gray answers. If we were talking to a client and they gave us those specs, I would say we'd want to allot. Now, don't confuse this with price per head for food.
Exactly.
Price per head for the overall event.
weekend.
You want to allot about $1,000 a person. So if you have
Okay.
100 people, $100,000.
Okay.
You have 200 people, $200,000. Now that's, again, now this still goes back. Are there venues where we could drop it by 50,000? Sure. But we want to make sure we're working in the realm of reality, right? We're not magicians. So if you ask me for a French chateau vibe in, the middle of somewhere that I've never heard of, and you have 200 people on your guest list and $70,000, like, and when I say this, by the way, I really do like to say, like, $70,000 is a lot of money. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we don't look at your money and say, that's not a lot, or that's, like, it's $20,000 is a lot. If someone walked into my house and said, hey, to redo this bathroom, I need $20,000, I would say, wow, $20,000 is a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we are not in any way, shape, or form putting anybody down for not having a certain amount, but there's realistic things of what things cost and not. So it has no bearing on us whether you have 20,000, whether you have 75,000, or whether you have 500,000, but it does make a difference in what you get.
I think you just want to set expectations, and the things that they're going to have to cut is going to upset people. So like I've been to weddings that I've traveled for, and the cocktail hour had no food, and I'm standing
that's
there.
where I wouldn't cut.
And I'm standing there, and I've like been through an hour-long ceremony, and we're going to be standing in this marble lobby with no food and not a lot of alcohol, and clearly they forego those things, and you're like, but this created a bad experience for everybody.
Let me just ask you this, because it's something we would tell our clients. Wouldn't you rather, instead of having 200 people, so one of my biggest things is staffing. Have you ever been to a wedding where there's
one
200 and there's one bartender?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Biggest party foul. And that's honestly how you know someone who planned the wedding is an amateur.
Yep.
Because you need to staff appropriately. You need to think about your guests. Yes, it's your wedding, and we're going to make the vibe and experience around you, but you are hosting people, and you need to think about their experience. When are they eating? When are they drinking? How far are they walking? Like, what's their entire experience from start to finish? And if you're not being thoughtful about that, you're not throwing a good wedding.
Yes, I mean, we've
100%.
done live shows where we've had to ask venues to please staff up more bartenders.
Yes.
Because we know our whole audience will get drinks. You have to think about it.
And it's
Yeah.
about what matters. And I'm sure some people like clutch their chest at hearing 1,000 a person. And of course, we need to reiterate that meant rehearsal dinner. That's like for the
That's
weekend.
like you're talking like
But it's just like you can decide what matters. You know, I always thought I'd be like, I'm not really going to care that much about the decor and the flowers. And spoiler alert, I do.
Right, but
and
you know what you
like, I
didn't?
want it to be beautiful.
Am I allowed to share like one thing?
Yeah.
That you didn't particularly care about?
Yeah.
When we were going over invitations, and I was like, so we should be budgeting like a certain like X amount for your guest count, and she was like, absolutely not. And I was like,
We haven't even done them yet.
no, but
send
when
an
we were
email.
talking about it, we were just having a conversation. She
Yeah.
was like, no, like we're not going to do that. And I was like, okay, so like yeah, we'll just we're not going to get okay,
Just send
great.
an
We're not going to
email.
do that, right? Like
We sort of have them. Wait, whatever.
we
I think
sort
we
of
should
kind
send
of
an
have
email.
them. But my point is, it wasn't a priority for her. So let's not spend money there. Let's reallocate it somewhere else. Like that's fine. Like even as planners, we don't force our clients to do
Right.
things a certain way. We're like, if you don't want to spend $5,000 on invitations or $3,000 or $6,000 or whatever it is, and by the way, even invitations, I mean, the range is out of control. Just, do you want letterpress? Do you want foil? Do
Yeah.
you want, I mean, people
Totally.
have no clue. And it's not, again, that there's a good, a bad, or right and a wrong. There's just a million options.
So let me ask you, if somebody's like, all right, well, fine, I have 70 grand to spend. How can I make my money go the furthest? So
Yeah.
like, what is important to deprioritize? How do I make my money and make the
Go the
biggest
furthest,
impact?
yeah.
So,
And that's probably loaded.
yeah. So, I mean, I personally think the biggest impact is, again, thinking about the guest experience. So I would rather personally, and this is what the advice we give our clients, I'd rather give 100 people the best experience than 200 people a mediocre to bad experience.
Oh, less guests. I never thought about that.
Well, first of all, do you want to know what people say? How do I save money? Do I use candles instead of flowers? No. Do I send emails instead of invitations? No. You're not moving the needle enough. The only way you save significant amount of money is fewer guests. Think about it. If you have a 100-person guest list versus a 200-person guest list, that's literally 100 more plates of food, 100 more people drinking, 100 more chairs. That's 10 more tables of linens. It's literally double everything, right? So if you're saying I'm double my budget, cut your guest list in half. So I think people's biggest mistake is making a guest list before they make their budget.
Interesting. I never thought about that. I love that answer.
Make your budget first. And by the way, people do come to us and say, we don't have a budget because we don't know what things cost. And I go, nope. We're going to work backwards. Here's what we're going to do. All right, let's play a little game. Ashley, would you spend $500,000 on a wedding?
No.
Okay, would you spend $300,000?
No.
Okay, would you? No, you don't have to give the real
Let's
number, by
stop
the way. But my point is,
yeah.
my point is, we can play this game
We did
all
this
day
game.
long. We did this game. We literally played this game. So I was like, would you spend $200,000? I won't give the answer. Do you
No.
$100,000? You won't. But like my point is like you just keep going until they say this is what I spent. Great, that's our budget.
But I also understand
Love that
just
game.
from like a planning perspective of being like, okay, well, I want to be realistic about what flowers cost. I want to be realistic about what a cocktail hour costs. And you go from the other angle and you say, you tell me what you can afford, and I will go figure out what you can afford.
Yeah,
to
because
get.
we also can like I've made some of the most gorgeous tablescapes from stuff from like IKEA, by the way. Do you know what I mean? That you would never, if I showed you a picture, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this must have been so much money. I'd be like, no, I'm creative,
Amazon.
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm creative, our team is creative, and like we can figure things out. But what you don't want to do is send your planner or any of your vendors on wild goose chases. Don't just say, how much is everything, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, it's not a good use of our time. And quite frankly, we'll have to wind up charging you more because like you're asking us to then do the work 10 times.
Yeah.
Right? Like we want to make sure that we are laser focused in what you can afford. It's one of the things I don't like. It's like going wedding dress shopping. You're like, my budget's $4,000 for a dress. They put you in a $10,000 dress.
Yeah.
Like that's not how we work.
100%.
And so I would never, if someone said to me, this is how much money I have, I would never send them to a venue that isn't in that price range. So I can give one budget tip I think everyone's going to like.
Okay. You've given plenty.
Okay, perfect.
Have like the
Riveted.
guest list thing.
The guest list thing is you either, and by the way, if your budget isn't working, you need one of two things, a bigger budget or less guests. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the number one thing I say to people because they do not know, so have you ever had a friend, maybe you, I know plenty of people who've done it, it's called buying a house, then your house poor, right? Because you spent every single dime on the deposit, on escrow, on like closing on the house and everything, and then you have absolutely no money to furnish your house, right? Yeah. So the biggest mistake that people make, we see it all the time, is they spend too much of their money on the venue.
Okay, so like what do people overspend on?
So figure out a number. What number will not keep you guys up at night? What number will make sure your mortgage is paid, your rent is paid? Like figure out a number that you are comfortable spending on your wedding, okay? Remember, do that before you make the guest count. Then you want to figure out, you take 40% of that total budget. 50 is max, so anywhere between 40 and 50, but don't go over 50% because then you'll wind up being venue poor. Anywhere between 40 to 50% is what you allocate towards your venue, food, and beverage. It's your biggest chunk. Like no other vendor should take up that much of the budget. But in that 40%, you need to be reminding yourself that when they say it's X amount per person for food, drink, there's also going to be taxes, there's going to be state tax, there's going to be admin fee, there's going to be gratuity, and at the very max, including all of those fees, it should equal no more than 50% of your total budget.
Because I think some people are listening to, I love that. And I was going to ask you, like, what do people overspend on? There's so many other vendors. I mean,
that you
flowers,
have to,
the dress, the drivers,
Photo,
music,
video.
photo and video. I mean, there's so much other stuff
DJ,
you spend
music.
money on.
Oh, especially music. So let me tell you something about music. People who are like listening to this right now, if you want a band, start saving now. Bands are, good bands.
First of all,
I'm going to say something that's like highly controversial and might get me in trouble.
No, I need to know DJ versus band.
No, me?
Hello.
DJ.
We are a DJ family.
I'm a DJ gal. I'm not a band gal.
I always say, I want to hear Beyonce.
Do you want to know why?
Songs.
Right.
That's what I want to hear.
I'm sorry, but like, listen, I say this into if the 5 vendors that we work with are listening to this, we love you, you know who you are. The majority of bands, the members are divas, they're demanding, they're not professional, they're not as good as they think they are. Yeah. Like if you could see our company group chat on a random Saturday, like talking shit about the bands, like, and how we're just like, they are the bane of our existence. Like, now, again, to the people that we work with, and you know who you are, we love you and you're amazing. We're not talking to you right now. We're not talking to you right now. But the good ones are expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's this wide spectrum, and the ones that are at the top, which like the band that Lee had for her wedding at the Barnes Foundation in Philly. I mean, the wedding was pricey. Was the best band.
Sure.
They were actually the best band. I would love to know what they cost. And then there's just like, it's like this top tier.
And then there are people who are good at
else.
Marketing, and they do lots of Instagram ads, and they have good salespeople, and then they sell people, and like that's it.
So the venue I want to go back to, and we can touch a little bit on how I even chose mine, because I have like one tip I feel like of deciding what type of bride you are. But I think, wouldn't you say that's a big money issue saving thing, like aside from the guests, is like the venue. Like don't have your heart set on this certain type of botanical garden or hotel.
That's where I was going to get married. A botanical garden.
Wait, where?
So I had all of these ideas of like what I wanted to do, and we do want to ask about the venue in terms of like a raw space. You just get your heart set on like there's like warehouses in Brooklyn I thought would have been really fun to have a wedding at, versus a hotel, versus a turnkey wedding venue. They just churn them out all week. So I wanted to do it. I did book the Botanical Gardens in Pittsburgh, but they were turnkey. I mean, they hosted weddings every weekend.
All the time.
Yeah, every weekend. Yeah. So anyways.
So we get a lot of these questions a lot when we're on like a consultation with a couple. They're like, okay, if we start looking for a venue, like how quickly can we, lock it in? I'm like, well, I mean, that's really up to you, right? Like we start working with our couples within like 72 hours of you like signing a contract and booking. And then within a week, we have like our first round of things within 2 weeks. Like we're quick, right? But if you're, depending on how flexible the client is.
Yeah.
So if someone comes to us and says, I have a checklist of 10 things and I will not get married unless every one of these 10 things are checked off, there may be like one venue that like
That's a good
has
point.
all 10 things.
Uh-huh.
Like I can't build a wedding venue from scratch because you want these 10 things. Now we might find venues that have 8 things or 6 things, or do you know what I mean? So it really depends on your level of flexibility. It depends on like where you're willing to, we can gather the information. You can tell us what you want. We can gather the information, show you the pricing, the options. This is how many things it checks off your list, but you need to be realistic. And that's, I think, a lot of what we try to get across with couples.
And timing too, we'll answer it quickly and move on. But how much in advance do I need to plan my wedding? You told me I can plan your wedding in 30 days.
I've literally have.
But it just depends on the venues. Now, some people with these venues, they have 2-3 year waiting lists.
Yeah.
So we started talking, I don't even remember. It was this year.
Yeah, it was this year.
Yeah, so
it was,
I
actually think it was like right after Christmas or New Year's or something
I
like
think
that.
you had a call with her.
We were still long distance. So I think it was.
It was right before the LA fires. I think it was right.
I think
after
it was
New Year's.
right
so those
the
like the fires.
I think it was on my like to-do list
Yeah.
first of the year.
Yeah.
So, and I'm getting married on November 1st, but I got engaged on Labor Day weekend. And so it wasn't immediate. I took some time and I had a lot on my plate and we did all our things we did last fall and winter. And so everybody's story is so different,
Yeah.
but I think that question is completely unanswerable. Do you want every option in the world? I don't know, 2 years, 1
Right,
year.
right.
But,
You want something that's really
but
hard
you
to
can do
get.
a wedding in
Right.
6 months, 3 months.
right.
So these like, what if I've been to weddings in the woods where people build everything? They bring, like, what if somebody says I want a raw space versus like a turnkey wedding venue? What are your
Your parents' farm.
Yeah,
We talked about
I mean,
this.
yeah, I mean, and we've done that, right? Like we literally did a wedding on a farm that had no running water, no electricity, no bathrooms, literally nothing. Had you build it from the ground up, and yeah, people. Here's the thing: it's expensive. Anytime you start,
Okay, that's the answer. You got money?
The
you got
bathrooms
money.
alone.
Yeah, I mean,
The bathrooms.
I mean, we had to bring in generators for the DJ and then a backup generator because in case the first generator
course.
goes, we had to bring in generators. I mean, the caterers were working off of generator. I mean, everyone's working off generators. We had to charge them a ton of money because we had staff literally filling glass water bottles for like days at a time. So there was enough water for 250 guests. Like, you know what I mean? So there's a lot that goes into it. But let's just say like backyard tented wedding. Tents are thousands of dollars. And by the way, we're going to talk about, this is why the budget question is so hard. I could pitch you a $4 folding chair. But if you don't want a folding chair, then you have to spend $15, $20, $40, $50 on a
Do
chair.
you want metal? Do you want wood? Do you want
Do
covers?
exactly. Do you want covers? Do you not want covers? Do you want cushions? Do you not want cushions? Do you want arms? Do you not want arms? Do you want, like, by the way, like, we will not let you, if you're doing a ceremony in one area and a reception other, like, we are not moving chairs. So if you have 200 guests, do you want to know how many chairs you're renting? 400. Because you need 200 for the ceremony and 200 for the reception, because who's lugging 200 chairs from the garden to the tent?
Well, do you or let's get extra staff to do that? Do you want to pay for that?
Or you can spend X, but by the time you do that, you might as well rent the chairs. Do you know what I mean? So like people have these like ideas like, well, I'll just get people to do it. And you're like, okay, but also you have to walk through the cocktail hour to get the chairs from the garden to the tent.
we
So
are
now
doing my same chairs. We're flipping the
You're
room.
doing the same chairs.
we're doing the same
You're-
room.
You're doing the same
Yeah, but you're
room.
also at a hotel. that does this every single
We're doing the
No,
same. I
you're
just was
doing
like,
the same
wait,
chair.
Jacqueline.
No, she had a mini pan because it's not that wasn't about you. I promise. You're using the same chairs, and they're
'Cause we're in the
By
same
the way, and
room.
they're fabulous.
Oh, yeah,
they're part of the vibe. I also get on my high horse. If you want to know the design choice that makes the biggest impact,
Yes.
it's chairs. Let me
Okay.
scream it into the microphone. You will have 200 chairs in every ceremony picture and 200 chairs in every reception
everywhere.
picture. Your chairs are everywhere.
There's more chairs than people.
Someone posted a wedding this weekend, and it's not from a planner, it's a personal connection. So it's not
Okay.
no vendor. I'm not throwing a vendor under the bus. Absolutely gorgeous wedding, gorgeous background, gorgeous florals, the most heinous chairs. And I literally was like, all I'm staring at is the chairs.
Yes.
All I'm staring at is the chairs. And who needs to get fired?
But what do they look like?
They had They were
say?
old school like wood, but then they had like red leather seats. But every
Is this at Chili's?
It literally looked like,
Sounds like
it looked like
church.
the like Italian. You know, you go to like the restaurants with like the checkered tablecloths.
Yeah, like a red
and,
sauce
like,
place. Yeah.
yeah, and you have like. And I was
I'm
like,
horrified.
I was like, oh my God. I mean, I was just like, no. Like, and by the way, I know the people, and I was like, no, this isn't acceptable. Like,
They're in all the photos so
They're in every photo.
prominent. You guys did a whole Instagram post
Yeah.
about chairs.
you literally wrote, you were like, I never knew I needed chairs so badly. But
Yeah.
like, once you saw that post, you were like, oh my God.
They really matter.
They really matter. Because then, by the way, if you look at 10 weddings where even the decor was different, it wouldn't look so different if they all had the same chairs.
Totally.
It's really interesting. And I will get on my high horse about chairs at every turn. Every turn.
Anything else in terms of budget that you think people don't even think about, and you're like, oh, honey?
Well, and people ask, do vendors charge more because it's a wedding? Like, let's talk about the wedding tax.
Okay. So my answer to that is no. You pay more if you're hiring a professional. You pay less if you're hiring an amateur.
Okay.
Long story short, a professional does this full time.
Here are the prices.
So here are the prices. If that vendor is out of your budget, they're not wrong for charging what's out of your budget. They're just not your vendor. And by the way, I'm the first person to say there is a special place in hell for shitty wedding vendors, and we work with them all the time, unfortunately. Not if we're planning the wedding, but if we're doing like a coordination and like we're kind of stuck working with them because the client found them without us. We literally are like, I have to stick up for my vendors here and go, no, people charge based on their experience, based on their professionalism, based on the product they're giving you, the quality that they're delivering. And if they're professional, that all they do is this. So like they're not going wedding more. Like a wedding photographer is not paying their bills shooting like someone's like first birthday party. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. And you get what you pay for. A photographer that is featured in Vogue is going to charge you more money. That's just
1,000%.
They have ascended to a certain level, and it is what it is. And it doesn't mean you can't find amazing amateur photographers. And we've seen the gamut of everybody, but we generally get what we pay for.
I think one thing I realized, and I think this is like a reflection on yourself if you're the bride, is like, just think about your personality and what you want. Like, I realized I'm an indoor bride and I want to get married indoors and I don't want to have to worry about the weather or the wind. I mean, we have been to weddings where you cannot hear the vows because it's so windy and the hair is blowing and it can get windy here. And it's less about like it's pouring rain and we have a backup plan and I can live with both, which I think is fine too. If you're chill enough for that, live your truth. But I think I thought I might get married, just not the reception. I'm an indoor loud music party vibe. I knew I wanted that. But for the ceremony, I was like, maybe I want to be outside, palm trees. That's the vibe. And I was like, I am not. I'm indoors. I want to look the exact same way from when I come down from the bridal suite to when I'm saying my vows. And it was this thing of like, the two we were torn between, that was like one of the things that made the final decision.
Absolutely.
Of just like, I'm an indoor girl.
Okay, you know what I'm thinking? Every wedding that I've gone to of people that got married outdoors, and I'm like running, I have 5 off the top of my head. 2 of them it was raining. 2 of them it was so windy. That you couldn't even.
Even if it's sunny and hot, you're like.
And the other one, it was like, a million degrees.
Melting,
staring into the sun.
Yes, I've never been to an outdoor wedding that I was like, this was a great idea. The groom is dripping in sweat.
Yes.
You're all wet. I went to one that it monsooned the whole day, so we had to walk through a swamp to get to the thing in stiletto heels.
And it can be gorgeous. And I mean, my brother.
I mean, you are literally preaching to
Your brother
an
is the
actual
only
choir.
one I've ever been to.
My brother
lucked out.
Yes,
He's the only one.
They had amazing weather.
Well, it was April.
In April,
right?
But I was sweating in my outfit, but that's irrelevant. What I chose to wear, but it's just like
You did all black.
Yeah, I knew what I was doing, but
That was her fault. She takes accountability.
It's just I'm not knocking it. Go ahead and do it.
Oh, it's the dream.
Well,
it just doesn't work
here's
out.
the problem. The problem is if you're a chill bride and you're like, so of course, whenever we're planning a wedding that has an outdoor anything, there always has to be an indoor backup plan. And here's the thing: couples like to yes us to death. Yes, oh yeah, we'll do it inside if we have to. We'll do it inside if we have to. Come wedding day, their heads are spinning,
crashing out.
They are full blown crashing out. I literally have looked at someone in the face and said, what are you going to do if it starts downpouring? They go, they'll get wet. And I literally was like, that's so rude. Like that's so, how do you have 150 guests sitting outside and you don't care if it starts downpour raining on them? Like anyway, but you know what? It's not my wedding.
Yep.
You want to go, you know what? You want to walk down the aisle and have people do that? let's go. Cue the music, let's go. So that's like a planner. We give you advice. We give you suggestions. We even have backup plans. We can't make you listen.
That's so true.
Now, if you're a good client, and the only reason you should hire a wedding planner is if you plan on listening to them.
Sure.
If you plan on knowing it all, do all planners in the world a favor and like just do it yourself. Then.
Yeah. Hire an assistant. Okay. I have a burning question.
Okay.
Wedding trends.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you are seeing that you're like, oh God, no, please don't do this? Like, is there anything that's really hot right now? Are there good trends that you like? Just anything that you're seeing in the trend world.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I would say this is just personal preference. Like not to like dog myself here, but like I'm not a super trendy person. I'm a little bit more classic. I'm a little bit more like when something is becoming trendy, like let's not dive like we can maybe dip a toe in like the disco ball thing. I love disco balls. I think it's cool, but let's not do 7,000 disco balls.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe let's do a couple. Maybe like a disco ball drink stir or like a disco ball
cute.
something. Like let's find like little ways to incorporate trends instead of like making it like a theme party.
What you're talking about is a theme.
Right. Well, people do it. That's a trend. People do it.
What do you think about themes? Did you consider doing a theme? And like, what would the theme be?
I have a theme
You
guides me.
have an atmosphere.
No, I mean a theme's like New York City as a theme.
No, it's not a theme party.
No. So creating adjectives and putting a vision together is different than like you're coming to a ballroom in Los Angeles and we're going to have like New York City street names as like your table numbers.
Right, the Metro card is the table number.
Right, which by the way, people we have clients who we've done it for. You know what I mean? Like we've done all of it and it's fine and you know at the end of the day, if you love it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That is truly all that matters. I don't really care what anything looks like. Even from like I will say a lot of like luxury wedding planners really make sure that the aesthetic of the couple matches their aesthetic. Like I don't care. If you love it, I love it. You want me to plan, I don't know, people swinging from the chandeliers, like we'll plan it. I wouldn't do that at my wedding, but if you want to do it at yours, like let's go. Right?
Yeah.
There's one that I really find funny is like they have like the girls with like the skirts and they have like they're serving like champagne and they're on like stilts. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want anyone on stilts.
I like this.
Me.
No, I like this. Like the Great Gatsby burlesque over the top thing.
Yeah, it's like a Great Gatsby party. I mean, and some of that, like I would incorporate some elements that make it feel like a really like a party vibe.
Yeah, and there's so many ways to do that. There's also ways to like, flip the atmosphere. Like it's really calm and cool up until a certain point. And then like, we transition into the big party or whatever it is. I actually would say the biggest trend I'm seeing, which I personally love, is cocktail style receptions, which is
like not a seated dinner.
Not a seated dinner.
We can say I'm not doing a seated dinner.
So I want to talk about it.
So it's going to be, you walk in to the reception, it's party time.
Let's party.
There will be food. Plenty of it. There will be drinks, plenty of it. There will be staff, plenty of it. You will have a table and a seat to go to.
Okay.
But you will eat when you want to eat. You will dance when you want to dance. You will mingle when you want to mingle. And that's how this is going to go.
So I think that it's a little more old fashioned. I love what you're doing. I'm so excited about it. I think old fashioned, like when I was planning my wedding, my mom was like, there has to be like a flow to this. You must give people an hour to sit down. And I don't enjoy that as much.
Well, I think what it is, a lot of people think about like, depending on the age range of the couple, you have like wedding fatigue. Like if you are 35 and you've, for the past 10 years, you've been going to 7 weddings a year, you've been to the same, get to the venue, wait for the ceremony. Then you get a glass of champagne after you waited a half an hour, right? Then you get one piece of cheese and a cracker. Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, I will give listen, we plan most of our weddings, New York City, New Jersey, LA. We do destination weddings. And all around the country. We've done weddings in Dallas and Florida and Lake Tahoe and whatever, but mainly we're East Coast, West Coast, like California, Santa Barbara, Napa Valley to LA, Malibu, whatever, and New Jersey, New York. I will say like New Jersey, if there's one thing about a New Jersey wedding is their cocktail hours are like, it's like the Hunger Games. It's like you're in the Capitol. It's like you've never seen so much food in your entire life.
Hours long.
It's an hour to an hour and a half long, but it's like when you get like shrimp It's like from
Towers.
the floor to the ceiling.
Yeah,
like
it's my
it's like
favorite thing.
it's absurd. It's grotesque.
love it.
It's amazing.
I love it. You're like, it's grotesque. I'm like, that's the best wedding I've ever been to.
It's grotesque and it's amazing at the same time. So anyway, like they don't do that in California, right? So like, so there are so many
don't eat as
different
much here.
experiences. And actually in the South, like if you go to a wedding in New Orleans, they oftentimes also don't do sit down dinners. So it really very like, there's a lot of like regional specific traditions and trends. But I think going back to really quickly, like couples, let's say you've been going to weddings for 10 years and you have like wedding fatigue. Like every wedding feels the same, insert a different like centerpiece, right? Ceremony, cocktail hour, dinner, dance, go home, right? And I feel like a lot of couples are coming to us and being like, how can we make this unique? How can we do this differently? So we've had so many weddings over the past, I'd say like 3 years, where we haven't even had chairs out for a ceremony. We've had people like gather around like a big staircase and like the couple stands on the staircase and it's a 10-minute long ceremony.
And that's how you know it's going to be quick if you're standing.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be quick. But they danced for an hour and a half before the ceremony.
I love
We did the ceremony in the middle. So the ceremony wasn't first.
This is so fun.
They walked into the wedding and the band was rip-roaring. And this was an amazing band. It was this unbelievable Latin band, like 15-person
love
Latin
it.
band. Oh my God, it was incredible. I mean, people were on the dance floor before they got their first
That's
drink.
what I want it to be like.
Yeah, it was incredible. So this is but this is an experience that you don't get at most weddings. So like, and you don't have to even follow that formula. It's just one, right?
But I think this is what you have to ask yourself. Like, I didn't want this stuffy, formal program. It can feel really forced. We are still going to have some people speak. It's not going to be too much. I mean, there is nothing worse than like an hour of speeches from amateurs who have never held a mic. And you're just like, what are we doing? And then you get your courses. And I know this, like, I don't want to offend anybody because it's whatever you want. But like, you just have to ask yourself, that's the same thing as the indoor versus outdoor. Like, what do you want it to be? And again, sometimes your parents are paying and they make the decision. But
Well, so that's
that's not my story. And this is exactly how I want it to be. And I was like, I want it to feel like a party and anything but like that formal structure. And you were so great we talked about some things and some things I was like, that sounds crazy to me. Have you done this? Does it work? And you're like, yeah, and this is how we're going to do it. And Jacquelyn, she's like brought in some crazy ideas. We're going to have some like lounge seating. You're going to die. And so there's gonna be like a green velvet couch. You're going to die. And so there's just
not her telling all of our secrets.
I like not the normal. I sometimes I'm like really getting into it at the cocktail hour. I'm having so much fun, and it's like, okay, it's time to separate everybody now and go to your
and
seats.
you're like, wait, but we were just having fun.
I was having a great time, and now I have to sit here and be served. I mean, I'm going to talk such hard shit with you about weddings I've gone to. I mean, I sat through a dinner once.
Do it.
I sat through a dinner once.
First of all, I'll add you to the company group chat because that's the final boss.
I sat through a 2+ hour dinner at a wedding, and they just kept clearing and serving. And I think it was really important to her to like have great food, and the food was great. But I was like, can we?
And now we're supposed to dance after all that.
I went home.
I need a nap.
I went home. You need a nap.
I did go home.
Yeah.
I had to go somewhere the next day. I was done with this night.
But believe it or not, like we have couples that come to us and they're like, hey, so like my family, like they're not big dancers. We're not big dancers. So we do want the experience to be like a 3-hour long dinner. And we're like, okay. Like, so, and then there are people who are like, we want this to feel like a party and like it's, and it's great. But see, that's why we love our job is what we do. And why the experience has to be so personal and so catered. And it's one of the reasons why pricing can't be the same for everyone because everybody wants different things. Everybody like requests different things. And some things take longer to plan or shorter to plan, or it's more difficult to plan, or there's more details to plan. And so there's no black and white, cut and dry answer to anything. But I will say, circling back to, if you're good at communicating with your planner or your partner, if you're not planning on using a planner, which is also fine. My analogy for that is like, listen, you don't have to use a wedding planner. The World Wide Web exists. You can Google people, right? And find vendors. Number one, you're going to be shooting in the dark, looking for like a needle in a haystack. Or if you work with a wedding planner, you tell us what you want and like we are laser focused and find that vendor. But the other thing is I always say, I'm like, listen, I cook my own dinner a lot. And it never tastes as good as when a chef cooks it. Do you know what I mean? Like whenever I cook dinner, I'm always like, oh, you know what I'm going to do next time? I'm going to add a little bit of this, or I'm going to take a little bit of that. Like you don't get that chance in like wedding planning.
I mean,
like,
you could do anything you want, and it's on a very small scale. But like, I planned a 3-day festival for my birthday,
which I saw and was incredible and looked
Iconic.
insanely fun. I was stalking her and Taylor.
I wish you would have been involved. I wish you would have been involved because, listen, I enjoyed it and I love that kind of stuff. And I'm very organized. I'm very professional. And Ashley and I have been planning live shows for so many years. I'm good at it. But I enjoyed it a little less because I was in charge of everything and I had to like do all the planning.
Totally.
And I had to make sure I was the point person for when am I showing up? What is like? It was a lot on me and I loved it. It was the best weekend of my life, but I could have enjoyed it 20% more by spending a little more on a coordinator for the weekend.
Okay, so let's wrap up with a little tea.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you see the biggest conflicts that arise in the wedding planning process? Not like vendors, like more like with the, is
Parents,
it families?
in-laws.
Is it couples? You know, budget, obviously, but what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, biggest conflicts are always the family. It's always the family. So if you think about it, when we're doing consultations, we're typically meeting with the couple. Who we're not meeting with are their families. So we have had times where we've worked with a couple for 2 years, a year and a half, a year, and the couple's amazing.
Okay.
And we show up like wedding weekend and their parents are monsters. Like absolute monsters.
Are they the ones who created the budget? Like,
Not some yes, some no.
that's not why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, like, should people, if you're like, my mom's paying for this whole thing and she's all these, then include her in the meetings rather than putting you in the position.
Yeah. So we've even had scenarios where like partners, whether it's someone's fiance, like, hey, I don't really want to be a part of wedding planning. I'll let this partner be like work with the planner and come up with the decisions. And then on wedding, they'd be like, why is this happening? I'd be like, well, you weren't part of this. So like you've lost the right to have an opinion. Now you just have to do like what we kind of tell you to do, which of course we have ways around it. We now make sure at least the partner, the fiance, even if they're not part of planning, we make sure that they fully understand the execution, the plan, like where our team's going to be, where other vendors are going to be. But I'd say conflicts are really big. I mean, the T is we see a lot with divorced families, especially if like a dad's bringing like a new chickadee around. Like that is always hard to manage. And like we become therapists.
So I was wondering, are you like the therapist
Oh my
in this
gosh.
situation?
100%.
And what do you say?
But, you know, we try to what we try to do is really make sure we focus on the couple. We're like, this is about you. We're going to remove these people from your orbit, right? We're going to bring them into this room or, you know, we try to like give our couple like a safe space. They'll be around you for 3 pictures and then we can, you know, shove them back off in the crowd again or like whatever it is. So we try to just stay really positive. We try to understand family dynamic. I mean, part of the planning is tell us about your family dynamics.
right.
Like, you know, or Uncle Joe and Aunt Susie going through a nasty divorce. Like, are we going to have like candlesticks flying across the table, which has happened.
Yeah.
I've had mothers of the brides like crying in the bridal suite with me because they're watching their ex-husband with like their, you know, secretary, you know, and I'm like, so like, yeah, I mean, we've seen it all. We've seen nasty fiancés with each other. We've seen parents. We've seen just people who are like irrational, I would say. I feel like weddings either bring out the best or the worst in people.
I'm curious, you've seen it all.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to know if you feel like there are signs along the way
for sure.
that they are not going to make
100%.
it, whether it's in the planning process or even on the wedding
so
day.
100%. All you have to do, first of all, if you want to know if you're marrying the right person, just ask your wedding planner.
No, I'm
No, I mean, I'm dead serious. Like, I actually dream about starting like a relation. Like, I wish I was a therapist because I could easily be like a relationship like therapist.
Listen, put us in, coach.
Fine, like,
you just
let's
send them to
go.
us. The
Like-
3 of us can do it together.
Like, I 1,000%, like, even like a relationship podcast, I would foam at the mouth to just
have
focus
Jacquelyn
on that.
quarterly.
Like,
Oh my God, tell us all
but
the
like,
tells.
okay, so I will say this. The hardest part is when you see one person who's clearly has the power and the other person shrinks. And that's heartbreaking, right? You're watching, and there have been times where we've wanted to like shake and be like, please don't marry this person. Obviously, we've never done that. There have been times we've certainly wanted to.
It's so hard.
Yeah, it's hard when you see people just not being treated nicely, you know, because again, we spend a lot of time with these people. So we see when their mask kind of falls.
Yep.
We see when they're stressed out, whether it's about money or whether it's about family or whatever. Like, we really get to see.
Yeah.
You have a front row seat to how do you guys make decisions as a couple and handle conflict? What's more important than that?
How they communicate with each other, how they handle just differing of opinions, of differing of how they prioritize their family members and, are they aligned religiously? Are they aligned politically? Are they aligned financially? I mean, we get an insight to literally everything. After over 14 and a half years, we've had more people break up before the wedding than we have divorces.
I was going to ask if you've had people break up in the process.
Definitely.
Okay.
We've had, last year alone, there were like 6.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And like far along?
Not all, but some.
And did you see it coming? Have you been blindsided?
There was only one that kind of blindsided us.
Okay.
I'd say 5 out of the 6, we were like, yeah, like God bless. Like,
What were the tells to you?
they kind of just seemed like they didn't like each other.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like if you sat down next to them at a bar and you were like listening to their date night, you'd be like, why are these two people like next to each other?
I mean, sometimes people tell us they're getting engaged and we're like, why?
Right. Like they just aren't, it's just not compatibility, and they're just not nice to each other, and they don't have fun, and they kind of like are miserable, right? And so like 5 out of the 6, I would say we could see ish coming, but the one was like, whoa.
But if someone asked you, should I marry this person, would you tell them honestly?
Well, do you want to know what I would say?
Yeah.
I would say, first of all, never. This is my rule in life. Never ask a question you don't want the real answer to. Mm-hmm. So do you want this to be honest, or do you want me to like tell you what you want to hear?
And also you're asking. Why are you asking?
You're asking. So to be really honest, if a bride or a partner or a fiance came to me and said, should I marry this person in your opinion? I wouldn't say you should or shouldn't marry them. I would say, here is what I've observed, and use that how you'd like.
Which I think you and I would probably give that same advice too. Like, how do you feel about the way the person speaks to you?
Right.
How do you feel about the way it comes off as a little controlling? Do you feel controlled?
Absolutely.
Things like that.
So I never, even when it comes to planning, we don't tell people what to do. We can tell you what we're observing, or we can tell you what we think is off or what isn't right. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you not to marry them, but I would point it out. I would be honest to an extent. I would be honest.
Yeah. What it used to be like, if they smash the cake in each other's face, they're not going to make it. Did you ever see that?
If somebody did that to me,
do you see
First of all, if someone did that to me,
do you know when I
first of all, we'd
makeup?
be divorced before we got married.
I saw
like
a groom that sprayed his fiance or his wife with champagne.
No, there's absolutely no way.
You don't know me at all if you've done that to me.
If you do that, you have never met me before.
Right? I'm like, wet and I'm sticky now?
No, there is just, to be honest, and actually in all my years, I don't know if I've ever seen.
People aren't doing that anymore.
Maybe I've seen like someone take like on their finger and like put it on their nose and like they kiss it off. I mean, whatever. I mean, maybe I've seen that, but I don't think I've ever seen like a smash.
A full cake smash.
No, I've never seen a full cake smash. Thank God. I think I would be I think I would be horrified.
I'll never be that chill.
Have you ever had a couple like really have a conflict at the wedding?
Yeah.
Just give us one story, and then we'll wrap
a bride smoked when she was really drunk and she went outside to smoke a cigarette. The groom lost his
for smoking.
Yeah, he was like, "You taste like cigarettes now," and he was like, I hate it when you do this. So you couldn't stop like on our wedding night. And
you can't let me do what I want to do.
Full blown like fight at the bar. Like they didn't like go in like the bridal suite, and she was like, "It's my wedding too.
Yeah,
I'm having fun with my friends."
I'm on her side.
And it was like, I mean, yeah, I'm not even saying whose side I'm on. I'm just saying this is what happened. Like, so yes, we've had couples fight.
Well, so that you brought up drinking, and I swear we could talk to you for literal hours, but like drunk brides and grooms.
Yeah. So drunk is actually a little easier to deal with than, I mean, I would say more popularly now is people are super into drugs, like at weddings, like mushrooms, Molly, like, I mean, we've seen literal like cocaine out on like tables at like weddings, and we're just like, what? Like this is like not.
But do you like A, do you see a lot of drunk brides, and B,
or
do you
sober brides?
Do you advise like here's how to kind of manage?
I think over the years we probably have had 10 really drunk brides.
Okay.
I would say typically the couples are so busy mingling that like they're not like, yes, we have a drink in their hand, but they're not actually like finishing their drink and like being like 10 drinks deep.
Yeah.
They're kind of like, you're hugging everyone, you're talking to everyone, you're busy, you're taking pictures, you're this, you're that. So I would say even if people drink, they don't necessarily get drunk. I would say like the bridal parties are the ones where like they get really wild because they start drinking at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
and even them, like with like pills or like whatever it is they're doing. Like we've seen people trip out. We've seen, I had a bridesmaid once. She was like, let's say there were 8 bridesmaids. She was like number 6. We had done a rehearsal, first of all. So she also knew exactly where to go. But also if you didn't, you will just watch like people in front of you walk down an aisle and go stand somewhere. It's not rocket science, right? She literally walked halfway down the aisle, like just stops, turns around, looks at me and screams, "Where do I go?" And
What?
I was like,
wait, what? Was she wasted?
There's people behind her and in front of her.
Apparently she had taken like Xanax, but she was drinking and she was just like not, and we were just like, follow the other, go stand with your friends. Like there are other girls wearing the same dress as you, 10 feet away. Like it's not.
No, you can see the light.
You can literally, you're almost at the end of the tunnel.
You're
like,
so close.
But you're in a line. There's people behind you and in front of you. There's so many places to look.
I think she just got like blurry.
Meanwhile,
She's like, where am I?
And there's just this like beautiful like live like
Why do I
violin
go?
playing, and she's just screaming like, "Where do I go now?"
The drinking thing, I see drunk grooms. We've all seen them.
Which I, by the way, hate.
Hate.
I think it's completely
If
disrespectful.
you get up there to the altar and you have a hint that you are slurring, you could have had a beer or two, whatever.
Right, a beer or two, fine.
Like if you've been drinking with the boys all day and you are not your full, alert,
if you
coherent
are not sober
self
enough to drive, you are not sober enough to marry me.
we're doing a breathalyzer. Rayna, you better breathalyze him when we get up there. We're going to bring one up there.
I'm gonna need a Xanax.
Yeah.
Rayna, now you have to walk down halfway the aisle and go, where do I go?
Where do I go?
Where do I go?
Where do I
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's disrespectful, personally. I think it's rude. I think it's disrespectful to families, to friends. You've asked people to travel, to get dressed up, to come celebrate you, and you, being drunk was more important to you? Like, that is just red flag city.
I'm with you. And listen, I think that people should have fun however they want to have fun. Personally, for me, one of the first questions I asked her was, do you plan on drinking that day? What? You're spending so much money. Don't you want to remember this? Isn't this supposed to be the most important day?
If the two of you want to black out, like 10 p.m.,
if that's your vibe.
Great, let's do it. Like, I will be the first ones, like, they're supporting you, handing you the shots. But, like, we got to get through the respectful
ceremony.
stuff first.
Okay, we again could talk to you forever. We'll have you back. Listen,
We're gonna go drink. I have so much shit to talk with you.
We could definitely do 5 more episodes.
100%. Well, you'll spill the tea on my wedding.
Perfect.
You'll come back. You'll come back in November.
We'll do a post-wedding
We'll talk about how
episode.
I did. We'll focus on me mostly.
Let's do it.
My trauma at the wedding.
Okay, so I'm sure everyone's like, what's a planner cost? And that's, again, not a black and white answer.
Yeah.
Use your t-shirt example applies here.
Yep.
But if we want to give them an idea.
Yeah. So I think it's important. Again, let's go back to, there's going to be planners that have less experience. There are going to be planners that are newer at it. So they're going to charge less. Can you get a wedding planner for $5,000 to do a certain number of services? Sure. Can you get a planner for $25,000? Absolutely. Can you get a planner for $300,000? Absolutely.
Damn.
And everything in between. I mean, if I told you some of the minimums that people have, you would actually fall out of your armchair. But it's like
The minimums? Like $500 or something?
No, I mean, like, for a wedding planner, like, they would say, like, your budget has to be a minimum of 1.2 million and my cut is 20% of that, right?
Got it.
So I would, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
And
so
that's just rich people
It
shit.
sounds New York City shit.
yeah, or LA.
Right.
LA,
too.
don't, right down the street are like 3 planners that I know right down the street that have that
Right.
too.
I forgot about Beverly Hills.
Yes,
people.
but I would say I'll give you the same answer that I gave about the venue. You create your budget. What are you willing to spend? 40 to 50%? No more than 50% should be spent on your venue. A wedding planner should eat up anywhere from 10 to 20% of your wedding budget. Doesn't matter. Now, we don't change our fees based on your budget, but that's how much you should be allocating based on your budget. So if you start looking for a planner, there's your gauge.
And then for some venues, for example, I am thinking about where my brother got married. It was a wedding venue. I think probably the coordinator, like the day of, was like wrapped into the cost. Is that typically true?
Not always. First of all, not every venue has a coordinator. By the way, coordinators and planners have completely different jobs.
Right.
A coordinator often has never spoken to any of your vendors prior to the wedding
right.
day. If a vendor doesn't show up, like, they're not trying to like find you another vendor. They're not problem solving. If you're getting ready at a hotel or a home or an apartment, like they're not with you. Like they live at the venue, and their job is mainly to manage their staff. They're making sure their staff is showing up, their kitchen is running, their bars are stocked, like their furniture is out. Whatever it is that they are responsible for, the coordinators are more responsible for their stuff, but they're not managing mom and bridal party and all sorts of things. And the truth is, a good wedding planner and a good coordinator, like we need coordinators. Like we need venue coordinators, and we work beautifully with them. And vice versa. We have wedding venues that have amazing coordinators that are like, you need a planner, because we don't do the things the planners do, and the planners don't do the things that we do. So it's like, when you have a planner and a coordinator that understand their roles properly, it is the best support any couple could have.
Okay. Got it. I love that.
I'm obsessed with you.
I know.
I can't wait. I want to get married. I can't wait to get married and help you plan it.
I can't wait.
And I'm so excited for Ashley's wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
Best friends the whole day. I can't wait.
I can't wait.
Well, thanks for coming on, and thank you for everything.
Thank you
I've
for
loved
having
working with
me.
you so much, and just, being friends too. We're going to go have drinks with Taylor. It's gonna be great.
Absolutely.
Remind people where they can find you and your company. And I think you're going to have enough work for the rest of your life now.
I hope so. So you can find us on Instagram. We are at The Wedding Plan and Company. Online, we're theweddingplanandcompany.com. It's pretty straightforward. So either our website or Instagram are probably the two easiest places to find us.
Yeah, and we'll link it in the show notes for you guys, of course, as well. And you can find us at girlsgottaeat.com, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. I am Ash Hess. Rayna is Rayna.Greenberg. Subscribe on YouTube. Share this episode with a friend. Seek Jacquelyn out in her company, of course.
We plan weddings all over the country and all over Europe and Mexico and you name it. So reach out.
Good luck out there, guys.
I'm so excited for the wedding. Let's see the live stream for Ashley's wedding.
Oh my gosh, not us live streaming the wedding.